Yo, what it is? Back, we back. Mm-mm-mm. Like slow day at the office. Y'all know what I do on slow days at the office. We ain't had one in so fucking long. Take my ass in the house. You know what I mean? Yo, if y'all been saying these debates with Officer Tatum, like, yo, I can't believe they shopping that man all over social media to look foolish. Like, normally when you got people like him, who's obviously being paid to push rhetoric and nonsense, they stay out of debates, because they can't debate, they don't got no points. They're not standing on nothing. They just being paid to push nonsense. But this nigga is going on platform after platform after platform, debating his point of view. Looking about stupid and foolish as a motherfucker. Shit is crazy. And it's a damn shame. Is this many people willing to follow that nonsense? Even though we know why. We know there's a huge market for the black sellout. We know that. So it ain't really surprising. It's just a testament of, America and this climate. And, what certain people is willing to believe just so they can, stand on what they was raised on. You know what I mean? They was raised to believe this way. So that's all they want to know. They don't want to know nothing outside of that. But that nigga's getting embarrassed. Embarrassed. Like I said, he in the college kids. He did a sit down with the college kids. We still gotta go over that. Embarrassed them. He just sat down with this other dude. I think he like I don't know what the fuck your is, but he embarrassed him too. I ain't gonna lie, I like watching it. Only thing is though, as a content creator, yo, when you bring these people on your platform to debate, you don't really wanna damage their character to the extent it fucks up their platform. So even when you doing these debates, you gotta keep that in mind, man. You wanted to be honest. You feel me? Now with him, I don't know if I'd be able to do an honest debate because what he doing is so detrimental. You know what I mean? It's so detrimental. Yeah, hell yeah, Nancy Grace got on his ass too. He talking about she tried to cut his mic. I'd have cut your mic too, niggas. Anybody trying to hear that nonsense? What's up, bro? How you feeling?
Shit, same old shit, man. My back hurting like a bitch, though.
She just say your back hurt.
Yeah.
How old you is, man?
I'm 25. Hey, yo. No, it's that long ass rap from Virginia that really got my back.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Driving from Virginia, then fucking hopping right on the clock right after I get home and shit. Literally.
It's been slow today, though. This might be a day to chill. I ain't had a call yet.
Yeah?
I just seen the dude at the gas station. I don't know nobody's name.
Yeah,
He said he been there since 7. He ain't had a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, you be on the TikTok live or the Instagram?
YouTube.
YouTube?
But yeah, so
I do like the little TikTok live shit.
yeah, TikTok is a good way to, cause TikTok promotes you more.
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube, it's a whole bunch of politics.
I don't even think I could go live on YouTube yet. At least, like, regular. I think I could go live for gaming, but not for regular shit.
Then we got Adrian Broner. I told y'all, people thought that shit Adrian Broner doing was funny. That man health is in danger, man. And that's the same. Remember when we first started talking about Adrian Broner, what I tell y'all? I say, man, people gonna sit back and watch that man die, man. Everybody talking about, yo, Adrian Broner back. He back, yo, he getting money again. I say, nigga, that ain't the type of money you wanna get. That man, that nigga getting crash out money. They don't want that money, man. That money no good, man. They can keep that money, yo. If they not paying that man to get his life right, then they don't need to be paying him at all. You heard me? You don't want no money like that, yo. You don't want that type of money. The money AB is getting would be the equivalent of blood money on the streets. You feel me? It'd be the equivalent of getting money for taking hits or robbing. You know what I mean? I ain't never been a successful robber that got rich off that shit, yo. Like, niggas don't get rich off robbing. What it is, hey? Look, what's up, Jim? Oh, you man talking about your man Tatum? Let's check your man Tatum out first, man. Since you got so much to say. Check out your motherfucking man Tatum get destroyed. You probably one of the dumbasses. You probably follow him religiously, don't you? You wake up in the morning, go to sleep tour. This nigga, he's a fucking buffoon. Make sure you stick around for White on White Crime Month. We got 101, what it do? So, you, White on White Crime Month is right around the corner. Make sure you here, man. So I can show you some of your people in some fucked up situations. Matter of fact, I might got something for you. You said what?
I said, I thought you was talking to me for a minute. I didn't want to talk to you.
Nah.
I thought you were good.
Might got something for you, man. Check the people out, Jim. Acting a fool.
No, it ain't never over. Yeah? Why are you stopping it?
Look at that. What the fuck is wrong with them, man? Completely out of control, man. Don't know how to conduct themselves in the motherfucking place of business. The goddamn shade, man. Let me see what else I got for you. Put up. Check them out.
Stop it.
Look at this shit. Can't even have a healthy debate. Fuck wrong with them? Look.
Hands with rocks? That's your husband? That's your husband?
Look at him, yo.
Genocidal fucking freak! You bombed kids! And you need two people to hold me back. Be a man. I ain't trying to fight you, lady. Stop, come on. That's your husband, right? That's your husband who stuffed in rocks in his fist?
Get away from me.
Stop. That's your husband. That's your... Look at this
Look
guy.
at him, man.
Rocks in his fist. If he hits me. You do. Stop.
Look at this. The fuck is wrong with these people, man? They unhinged. Fuck at that in. That's all you gonna get today, Jeff. Stick around for September. I got a whole month for you. Alright, but I think I got something on every element. On every element, man. But let's talk about this fucking clown. So Austin Tatum sat down with Elliot Coney. I think he's like some type of therapist. He got destroyed, man. I might got some cruise ship fights. Never know. Stick around. That might surprise you, man. Might surprise you, brother. Just might got some cruise ship fights for you. You know, we expanding white on white crime month this year.
American shorts versus Korean shorts. You ever notice how every time somebody actually looks good in shorts, and I mean every single arm,
All right, so
I'm going self.
so it seems as though he brought this guy on this platform. You know, to question him about some of the rhetoric. You know, because I think it deserves question. I mean, to me, it's obvious he's getting paid. It's almost like gay for pay. You feel me? He anti-black for pay. That's what he is. That's what he does. But
Is to simply subscribe. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe to Brandon Tatum. How you doing, Mr. Tatum?
all right, check
I'm
this
doing
out.
well. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. I appreciate you being here, man. So I'd like to get started by asking about your origin of how you started developing conservative
Yo,
ideas.
you think a man? Yo, you think he's a stand-up man? Wow. I don't know what the fucking definition of a stand-up man is. Yo, you can't be a stand-up man by selling out your own community. If he was white, right, and he was pushing lies and rhetoric and stereotypes about white people, would he be a stand-up man in your eyes? Or he's just a stand-up man because he's saying what you already believe? Let me know, man. I don't think you would call him a stand-up man in that case. But since you believe the nonsense, he's a stand-up man. No. Officer Tatum is a clown. It's a clown, man. He found a way to monetize by pushing nonsense. That's all he is. I don't even think he believe half the shit that come out of his mouth. That's why he be struggling with explaining it.
You started developing conservative ideas.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. You know, I grew
Excellent.
up in an all-black neighborhood. I grew up around people who believed the Democrat Party was the only party sustainable for the black community. It wasn't until I got saved in 2008 that I started to open my mind more. And when I became a police officer, that's when I became more conservative. Looking at the policy positions of the Democrat Party and realizing, oh, wait a minute, I don't agree with any of these policy positions. Standing for what's right when it comes to God, standing for, secure borders, standing for, you name it, what the Republican platform is all about, lean more towards what I believed. Ben Carson was one of the leading voices that I felt I identified with the most. And it really opened my eyes to realizing that I'm more of a Republican, I'm more of a conservative than I am considered a Democrat or a liberal. And then when I looked at the historical...
Yo, but that don't mean you gotta be a bitch. Like, I don't give a fuck about his political beliefs. Matter of fact, I'm ready to fast forward this part. Because just because you politically align with a certain party, that don't mean you gotta be always on the opposition of your people. Like, I think that is two separate different arguments. But that's the lines that they try to blur or create when it comes to politics. That's why politics is so divisive. It's like, if you align with this party, you also gotta align with these rules and narratives. Nah, man, I don't subscribe to none of that. I'm not a Ben Crump supporter, Jim. See, there you go. See, listening to guys like him, make you think that all black people support Ben Crump. We all support Black Lives Matter. We all support George Floyd, and we don't. We don't. I don't support none of them things that I just mentioned. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't support him either because he's a fucking clown. That's why you gotta stop listening to dumbasses, man. He lying to you.
And when I looked at the historical context of the Democrat Party, that also inspired me to realize that I don't even know why black people ever support the Democrat Party. When you look at the history of it, the history back in slavery, the non-support or the fickle support of black people, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. You go to the Civil Rights Movement, you name it. I feel like the Democrat Party has not been sufficient for black people.
When and you said you grew up in a predominantly black area, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the Fort Worth Stop Six area, correct?
Well, I grew up in multiple areas. I went to school at Dunbar High School, Paul Laurence Dunbar, named after the famous black poet Paul Laurence Dunbar. But I went to Paul Laurence Dunbar High School, which was right in Stop Six. We lived in Eastwood, which was down the street with my grandma for a couple years. And it wasn't that we needed to; we had to. My daddy was in my life. My mama was good. Like we weren't poor or anything. It just so happened that we lived in those areas. One reason I went to Dunbar was because we wanted to excel at sports, and so we ended up transferring from Crowley to Dunbar. So yeah, I lived in a lot of different areas, man. We lived in middle class areas. We lived in poor areas. I had a very diverse upbringing.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I went to college not too far away from there, Texas Wesleyan University.
Oh yeah. I looked you up, man. So
that's very close to where you are.
Yeah.
So before this 2008 that you were just referring to, would you have identified as a Democrat before that?
Yeah,
I don't care about.
Growing up,
I don't care about none of that.
That's how I.
All right, so you stop at 8. Okay.
Because I got arrested and we went to juvenile. We didn't spend a lot of time in there, but we ended up getting arrested. We went to juvenile detention. We stayed there for the majority of the day. My daddy came in there like he was in the WWE, saying he gonna kill us and everything, and that changed my life. It's a whole story around that because Anyway, moving forward. So,
Fuck no. Elaborate. Because I think he lying. He supposed to made him elaborate on that story, man. I don't think that story is even true. He just want to create that narrative because it's one of them ones to say, I came from humble upbringers. I got in trouble and look at me. So I'd have made him elaborate on that because I think he's fucking lying.
I grew up with that perspective, and when I left high school, went to college, I had an opportunity to be around white people in real life, and I realized that
Hey,
wait a
Jim,
minute.
you are a dumbass. You believe a lot of the stereotypes. Yo, you fucking stupid. Yo, I take care of my kids. All my friends take care of their kids. Like, yo, it's a damn shame. So you think? Let me tell you how dumb you is, Jim. Tell you how dumb you is. The reason why the narrative got spent on black men and taking care of their kids was because of mass incarceration and the crack epidemic, bro. That's how that happened. Black men didn't just stop taking care of their kids, man. Yo, black men was forced out of the household through the welfare program, through mass incarceration, through the crack epidemic. So, now that you know that, because it is a fact, you can look it up, it's not my opinion, you think that was going to last forever? So in your mind, from then to now, you think forever black men just not going to take care of their kids? Yo, you can own everything in the world and be stupid, Jim. Maybe you're a good businessman. You understand? Like, that's not the same. Saying what you own isn't an indication of how smart or intelligent you is. You can still be ignorant in other areas. And obviously, you're ignorant right here because what you just said didn't make sense. Salute to you. Yeah, right? Keep fishing. But that don't make you smart, bro. How do you connect what you doing in business to you knowing about history and economics in a black community? Like, how the fuck do you make that connection? Was that smart too? Because I think that was very, very ignorant. But no, yo, black men do take care of their kids, my guy. Now there's been another push right now, and we're gonna talk about that later. The first agenda was the mass incarceration, crack epidemic, crime bill, all that shit. You feel me? Now, what they're trying to do is they're attacking the black women with this nonsense this bullshit when it comes down to choosing yourself and all these motherfucking influences that's supposed to be what you call them, relationship gurus, and that's something else that's going on now. But we'll talk about that later after we talk about this fucking clown.
That wait a minute, I don't think white people are as racist or as punitive towards black people. It appears to me when I was in college they didn't even care. It was a non-starter of racism when I went to the University of Arizona. It was nothing there, and so I began to realize, whoa, the world is bigger. Things are much different. I've been in an isolated box, being taught something that I think is not really reality, and that I got saved, and then I quit worrying about race. Race became irrelevant when I got saved. When I gave my life to Christ, I don't only look at people based on the color of their skin.
Yo, have y'all noticed that's like the new grift? Like the new grift is the throw a religion in it or God in it. Like, yo, this ain't got nothing to do with no motherfucking getting saved. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, hey Jim, do you agree with that too? Do you think getting saved is the answer? Fuck, you always just be saying anything. Who said, I got saved and my perspective started to change. He's a dumbass. I would love to debate him. I embarrass y'all. Well, then what you call him? If you don't think he a grifter, what is it?
I look at people based on their character. I look at people based on who they are, who they present themselves to be. I believe that we're all God's children, and that the color of your skin is irrelevant.
Yo, but look, not to, I think most people look at people based on their character, but that's not what we're talking about here. You feel me? I think most people with any kind of intellect or knowledge or wisdom looks at people based on their character. But that ain't got shit to do with the other topic involving race in America. That's two totally different topics. Like I don't even understand why he just trying to merge the two to make one represent the other. That's not reality.
And so moving from that point, I get to policing, and then a lot of times the guys that on the police department, they challenge me. They like, hey, do you believe in that? I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in this
That's a lie, Black
movement. I don't mind people doing what they want to do with their own time with who they love, but the movement, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with pushing it on people, different things like that. I believe in lower taxes. I believe in, that we were founded on Judeo-Christian values in this nation, and that we are a Christian nation that's very tolerable to other religions and perspectives, but we are a Christian nation. All of our founders were believers. Most of our founders were avid believers. Most of our early scientists were believers. So I understood the perspective. I studied Africana studies in college, Black history.
Was that your major?
That was my minor. I had a thematic minor, so I was studying Africana studies as my minor, but I happened to need two classes, so I had to throw sign language in another class in and create a thematic minor. So
Gotcha.
My minor ended up being thematic.
I think I'm more knowledgeable than him.
My minor was Africana studies.
So where'd you go to college?
At University of Arizona.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I hope I'm not getting off topic. That's kind of where it led. No. And being challenged on the police department by some of my friends, and I'm like, I don't believe in that. They're like, well, that's what the Democrats believe. And then for the first time in my life,
you see what he did?
Republicans believe.
Yo, you think that's really a topic? He was having a conversation with some of his police buddies, and he said, I don't believe in that. And they said, well, that's what the Democrats believe. Like, yo, this is not about Democratic or Republican. Like, that right there, that talking point right there fucks up the whole conversation. This ain't got nothing to do with that. That's why I wanted to fast forward that part. No, it's not, man. Because I don't give a fuck about none of them parties. Yo, most black people don't give a fuck about none of them parties, man. Sorry to be the fucking bad news for y'all, but yo, we don't give a fuck about that shit for real. Like, there's so much other things to worry about, and we could care less about politics. That's why people don't come out and vote. Fuck about that shit, man. We don't trust neither party. But since the narrative is that black people's overwhelmingly support the Democrats, which is true to a certain extent. The way to create the divide is to make it Democrat versus Republican, and to align the Democrats with black people and align the Republicans with racist white people. That's how they did it, man. And it's crazy that some of y'all think y'all so knowledgeable and y'all don't even recognize that shit. Just like during the crack epidemic when they associated crack to black people and associated marijuana to the hippies. It's all about divide and destroy. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same concept. But y'all believe this dumbass because he's being paid to push a narrative. He ain't organic. That man, a lot of these things he's saying probably not even his original thoughts. He's just being paid to push nonsense, man. And y'all follow the stupid shit.
Considered them. They were racist white people to me. Then I started looking at the platform. I went to a Trump rally, and not because I supported him, because I wanted to hear what he had to say. I really supported Ben Carson. And then I realized I do agree with these
Ben
things.
Carson's a
I do
dumbass.
agree. I love my country and all these other things. And I'm like, I believe I'm more Republican.
Gotcha. And so before that, you were just Democrat by default. This is what I grew up around.
Yeah.
I didn't really explore anything else. I was just birthed into this. Here I am as a Democrat.
Yep.
Okay. So recently, I've become aware of your
Man, you
of
stupid,
your work,
Black Wolf.
and I wasn't really aware of you up until recently, and have been following you and paying attention
Right,
to some of
Dwayne.
what you've been saying, posting, et cetera, et cetera. And there are a few questions that I'd like to ask you about some of the messages you have. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I do not agree with a lot of the things that you say. But in my opinion, that's perfectly fine. People can disagree. You're allowed to have whatever opinion you'd like to have. I'm allowed to have whatever opinion I'd like to have.
Hey, West Baltimore, I've been telling y'all about the YouTube federal program, yo. That shit real, man. So said it. So saying it, bro. It's obvious he's in it. Yeah, he KO with Buddy. Look like he getting fresh. Yeah, yo, he in the YouTube federal program, bro. Austin Tatum might be in it too.
But I'm a psychotherapist, and I've been a psychotherapist for 20 years. So I hear things through a very particular lens as a result of being a psychotherapist and the experiences I've had through those 20 years. And that has led me to want to ask you a few questions about some of this content. Are you okay with that?
100%.
Okay. Because one of the things I'd like to start with, are you familiar with the term naive reality?
Yeah, when I say Ben Carson is dumb, of course he's smart. But Ben Carson, he doesn't have his own mind. He's able to be controlled. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody that's able to be controlled to me is not anybody that I would mimic my life after or want to be, or respect on any kind of level. Man, he can be controlled, man. That's what I mean by Ben Carson is dumb. Maybe I should have clarified that.
Naive reality.
I can deduce what it means, but I'm not familiar with that specific term scientifically.
Well, so I want to use the term clinically. Like some of the terms that we use, I want to use the term clinically, and it's a psychological phenomenon where people believe their own.
Hold on. Let me sidebar to this Sosa shit. Yo, Sosa didn't tell on the dead, man. Yo, 3 of the people that was mentioned in that paperwork got caught in that fucking Penn North indictment. You feel me? Like, yo, we not ready to let nobody. He know what he did, yo. He know what he did. I told y'all he was trying to go the FBG butter route. Yo, Sosa provided context to everything that the feds is alleged that was going on during that time. So it may seem as though the people that he mentioned was dead. Yo, but that wasn't the point of his interview. His interview was provide context, background information. So whatever else they got makes sense when it come down, the court, the trial and shit like that. That's what he did, yo. Yeah, hell yeah, you ain't see that? Man, they took down like 15 people. Yeah, yeah, basically the same shit FBG Butter did. That's what FBG Butter did, man. All you gotta do is listen to the testimony. If the testimony starts way back before an even indictment, it lets you know what his testimony was about. You feel me? You go back to Butter testimony in the O Block trial, it starts back in like 2010. Yeah, man. Similar to the Sosa shit. You go to the Sosa testimony, it start back when he was selling waters. Like, it's all about providing context. Man, hell yeah, like 3, 4 people. Look it up. Massive indictment. Like 3, 4 people, and then go. Well, they took the videos down. But it's somewhere. Might be on Instagram or something. Yeah, y'all. So we ain't doing that. I mean, he knew what he did.
Their own perception of reality is the only.
Like like my man used to always say about Butter. Like, you can't say you told on the dead and you testifying at a live trial. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yo, these people that he's testifying on is going to court. Like, they alive and well. but they know he told on no dead. No, man. If he told her dead, he would have had to get on the stand, man.
Their own perception of reality is the only objective one. So when I watch you, and particularly on like the Jubilee interview, for example, and someone gives you data, you often respond with your own subjective reality. And it made me want to ask you, what do you think of the idea of naive reality, of the idea of the concept naive reality? Now, naive reality, I don't mean to call you naive, like that's why I want to be clear. I'm using the clinical label, like that's the word that we use.
I get it. I don't agree that I live in that
I
reality.
told you, bro. It's
think
the fucking YouTube federal program, bro. Like, this is the new thing, man. It's the new thing, man. You testify, you snitch, they put you on the internet. It's like a way to put you up. Yeah, man, like hide in plain sight. That's what it is, bro. In the program, man. They guaranteeing YouTube careers or influencer careers after you become a witness.
I'm pretty practical. When someone's giving me statistical data points that's unverified, I can't just run with it just because they said it. And if you look at some of the Jubilee footage, people were claiming all kind of things and they got fact checked and they were wrong. Some of the things that they said about Booker T. Washington, the guy who said he was an educator, and it lied about, flat out lied or had not necessarily mixed up statements from Booker T. Washington's book Up From Slavery, and then he goes and says it, and I can't go and verify it on the spot. And when others bring up statistical data points from studies that I haven't been able to verify, it's impossible for me to go and make an argument about something that's unverifiable. And I think that you would know in any argument that you would make or any discussion that you would have.
He terrible, bro.
Give something that you can't validate or verify. You either concede to it or you say, look, I object to the premise. I have education that leads me to believe certain things that's counter to things that was presented during the show, and I expressed that. I don't think that my reality is the only reality. I know a lot of people. I got a lot of friends that don't agree with me. People forget I'm still black. My whole family is black. And we don't always agree. We have spirited discussions on certain things. I don't think my dad agreed with some of the things that I say. I think he agreed with most of it, but we have spirited discussions on this. I don't live in an echo chamber where I'm the only one that have a reality that everybody has to bow down to.
Oh, man.
And so I just disagree.
Can't get you no call yet.
I think it's fine for us to disagree. The problem that I do have is when people say that somehow I'm not black. Because we got to disagree.
But they gonna give me a call before they give you one.
You been here longer than me.
Shit, I came in at 9.
I'm saying, like working wise.
Oh.
I've only been, it's like 7 months, about 7 months.
Oh, man.
How long you been working here?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Man.
I mean, I could if you want to call them and tell them. Tell them.
You do it? Ain't nothing but tire change.
What's that?
It's a tire change. You got to call him. Because I'm on this. Tell him I said you can do it.
What's your name?
Sean.
Sean?
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate it. Fuck would they get that shit to me for anyway? Yeah, yeah, so let's get back to this guy.
Because we have a difference of agreement, or somehow I can't handle the truth, or I hate my own skin and I'm gonna sell out Uncle Tom bootlicker because I have a difference of opinion. In reality, a lot of black people have a difference of opinion. We're not all monolithic. We're all monolithic in our thought process. You know, I think Thomas Sowell has a very different perspective than other economists who are black. You know, we go down the list.
Man, they been working the shit out of me, man.
Our current, and I would say one of the most honorable Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, I bet him and Thurgood Marshall have a difference of opinion.
Yo, he called Clarence Thomas honorable. It was great. Y'all watched the whole documentary on Clarence Thomas. Oh, alright, shit, fuck it, I'll do it then. Oh, I got it, man. I got it, fuck it. Yo, I watched the whole documentary on Clarence Thomas. Yo, and Clarence Thomas benefited from affirmative action. And then once he got in office, dialed that shit back. Like, Clarence Thomas was a piece of shit.
One of them are invalidated because of their opinions.
Oh, I got it back.
And so that's the point that I have contention with. A lot of things that I said on there was based on evidence, based on research, and based on my own lived experience.
So you said earlier that when someone presents you with data that you can't verify, it's hard to argue with, correct? Did I catch that right?
It's not fair to make a debate argument on unverified data because you're arguing from a false premise. So I can't concede to something that, and I haven't verified, because people do lie and people do tell half truths, and I haven't had a chance to evaluate the study, right? If you gave me a study and I haven't been able to look at it or verify it, how then will I give you a fair enough argument in return? So I don't want to argue something that I haven't been able to verify, and most of those individuals were just making up stuff.
So how would you be able to determine if someone is somebody that you could listen to versus not? Like, for example, I'm a very credible psychotherapist. I've been trained. I've been doing this a long time. So if I said something, and I'll just give you an irrelevant point that will be accurate, but a relevant point. If I said to you, the counseling field was created in Boston, Massachusetts, by a group of individuals that wanted to help people find job placements. That's a fact. I'm going to guess you didn't know that because you're not a trained psychotherapist. Like, at what point do you say, I can listen to that data point, even though that's the first person I've heard say that data point? I don't have to go fact check it. I can listen to that data point.
Yeah. So just when it comes to you, I think you may be credible, but I think you are biased. And the reason I say that is because of some of the critiques you've had of me in previous videos. Without even meeting me or knowing me or interviewing me, you made some suggestions about who I was, and I thought it was unfair. However, if you make a statement of fact, I don't have a reason to believe that it's different because I don't have any basis to argue it. Like, for instance, you gave me that statistical data point, or not data point, but you gave me that factual reality. I have not read or heard or have any reason to doubt what you said. Now, if you said that counseling and therapy was generated to make sure black people would never make it in life, then we're going to have an argument about it, or a conversation about it, because that does not seem to be practical in reality, and I've never heard it, and I've never heard anybody argue that. So I may push back on it. That doesn't mean that you can't prove me wrong. It's just that some things I may push back if it sounds nonsensical or not rooted in reality.
But see, that's where I think and you might say, that seems nonsensical to me, without acknowledging my expertise for being in that space. Like, I am in a position to say that as a fact.
He got destroyed in this debate, y'all. I'm gonna let it rock.
Even if it seems contrarian to what you would have thought.
Well, Elliot, think about this. I'm a former police officer. I did the job for many years. I'm very proficient at what I did. Many commendations. You can go down, so on and so forth. You can ask anybody ever worked with me. I was a very good police officer. Just because I'm a police officer, don't mean that everything I say pertaining to law enforcement is correct. It doesn't mean that everything. I mean that you have to accept it as being correct. Maybe I'm wrong about some things. I'm open to that. But just because I have credentials in the field, it doesn't mean that you have to concede to everything that I say. And so I think that if I say something to you that you think is invalid, or you don't think is rooted in factual reality, or that you have contrary facts, it's okay to challenge me on it. And I don't think that you should just go off everything I say at face value. And I'm not going to go off everything you say at face value if it contradicts what my lived experiences are and my research have shown. And then we have a debate on it. Like when it comes
He lost in every single one. Which one did he win is a better question. Which debate did he win? Because he was foolish as a motherfucker in this one. Especially when they got to talking about breaking down data and how you consume data. He was all the way wrong about that shit. Let me call this customer right quick, y'all. I gotta put it on mute. Yeah, I know. I had to mute it.
policing in America. I mean, there's Harvard research that have been done that determined very clearly by a black man who is now alienated. I forget his name. We can look it up. But, he made a very distinct finding that there is no bias in policing against black people. Disproportionate.
Yo, the man said there's no bias in policing against black people, yo. Like, how can you even say that without a straight face? Like, yo, that was, like, ignorant as a motherfucker. It's bias in policing. It's bias in sentencing. It's bias in arrest. Like, yo, this nigga is wilding.
And that person was shunned. He was Harvard educated, one of the most intelligent young men that's not even a conservative. And when he makes statements like that, coupled with my lived experience as a police officer, I began to realize, well, maybe, just maybe, people are projecting a reality on law enforcement that's not necessarily true because of their own biases. So you have statistical data and research that contradict.
There's been law enforcement that talked about the biases. Like, what is he talking? Like, what is that? I can't believe. That's why I'm saying, yo, he's just being paid to lie. And anybody that follows him is just being misled intentionally. You're being intentionally misled, man. Meanwhile, you thinking you're receiving great information from a highly intelligent brother.
Dicks some of the research that the gentleman presented to me on Jubilee. I think his name was Ronald Fryer. I think it's Ronald Fryer. I think his name is. But anyway, people can look that up if they want.
But see, that's the interesting thing, which is why I'm so interested in talking to you about these points, because when you say those kinds of things, like there's a Harvard researcher that says X, Y, or Z. I'm going to be very honest with you. I did a year, because you're familiar with this area. I did a year working with and training and riding out with the Arlington Police Department as a clinician, teaching them how to talk to. You're probably familiar with the Victims Assistance Unit, so teaching them how to talk to victims of violence crime. I did all of those experiences. I'm very aware with certain research, and I'm very aware with police. If I present information to you, there's something about you that holds on to your already held idea.
Not really. I mean, let's do it. We'll do a point now. I mean, what did you observe when you were on the ride along? Did you observe racial biases? That
not only did I observe it, but the police. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the Arlington Police Department was the Arlington Police Department is one of the only police departments in the state of Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I believe there were three at the time. I don't know what there is now, but it's one of the only police departments in this area that required a bachelor's degree. So we would have very, very intellectual conversations. And not only did I observe it, I observed police officers calling each other out on it, and I observed police officers acknowledging and addressing it.
And acknowledging racial bias in policing?
100%, yes.
And can you give me an example of when you were on a ride along that this occurred? And what was the scenario?
I can absolutely give you an example. Are you familiar with
and also, I would love for you to do this, and we can do it offline. If you can give me the police officer that you rode along with, because I would love to communicate with that person. Because I have never had a conversation with a cop that have made mention of some of that he witnessed involved in racial bias on the police department while having a ride along.
No. Okay, before I do that, I want to say clinically.
Yeah, we had a whole police force in Baltimore, a whole police unit in Baltimore that was planting guns on people. Show me a police unit that ever did that to a group of white people in a white community. If I'm lying. Look it up. Baltimore Gun Trace Task Force. Look them up. Look how many years they got away with it. Look at the commissioner's involvement in it. They let him resign because they knew that he knew about the whole situation. Give me a white community where the police force preyed on the citizens that way. Yeah, I'm not no Democrat, man. I don't preach Democrat at all. I say most people. I say we all should be independent. You shouldn't really subscribe to any of them motherfucking parties wholeheartedly. I think all that shit is flawed. Like y'all try to make it, black people voting Democrat and da-da-da-da-da. But what the fuck is the difference between Democrats and Republicans? They all the fucking same. We can make the same argument. White people voting Republican. What the fuck does that mean? That just means nothing. It's a way to, create a divide. And y'all are the ones that's supposed to be so fucking smart. Y'all be repeating that dumbass shit. That shit sounds stupid.
You're doing the thing that we would judge clinically that I'm talking about right now. This thing that we're talking about, this night. Hold on, I'm gonna
present it to me. I'm not saying that you're wrong.
No, I got you. I'm gonna explain exactly what I mean in a minute. But
Elliot, is it unfair for me to say I have never heard of this? Can you please give me the example that you presented? I never said you were wrong. I just said I wanted to hear the example.
It's not unfair, but it's ignorant. It's ignorant. You're playing dumb. That's the issue. You're playing dumb if you're going to sit back and say no racial biasness in policing. We're in 2026. Show me a police force that preyed on and they've been indicted because of it. They had this shit in Baltimore, New Orleans, New York, Detroit. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you just sitting back and y'all that listen to him, y'all don't care enough about the research to find the truth. But y'all be bold and loud in the comments about the support. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, man. For real. That makes zero sense. Before you comment, why don't you look it up first?
Example. I'm going to explain the concept, and then I'm going to 100% respond to your question.
Okay.
Because the concept, right? This idea that we're talking about here, this like reality thing, this naive reality, it's usually held by people that are in authoritarian positions, that their identity is attached to their position, and they're getting social rewards for holding that position. When that happens, hold on, I'm going to make this point, and then I'm going to respond to you. When that happens, your brain, not you, Brandon, but like the human brain, experiences a threat. They experience like the conflict to my previously held idea, not as a new idea. They experience that new idea as an existential threat. Because if I accept that thing to be true, then a lot of my other arguments fall apart.
But Elliot, can I interject? I think you're alluding that this is me. I don't have an attachment. I'm not a police officer anymore.
No,
I'm an
you're not.
entrepreneur. So
that's basically, I guess the medical term for what I be explaining, where people don't want to believe the truth. They just want reassurance of what they already believe. Because if they acknowledge certain things that we say to be facts, then they would have to revisit all their previous, talking points or thoughts, or that they once had. That shit real, man. Like I said, most people don't want the truth, bro. They just want reassurance. They don't want the motherfucking truth. The truth is uncomfortable, man. Nobody likes that shit. Especially when it comes down to, the black community and how a lot of us be treated in this country. They don't want that, they don't want to hear that. Because their parents told them something different. Their parents told them we was victims and, we just complaining and there's no real proof to anything that we say. So I agree.
I don't have an attachment. If a cop is wrong, they wrong. It doesn't hurt me if a cop is wrong and go to jail for racial biases. Me and you can go to the police department together and let's fight against racist cops doing things they ain't supposed to do. I'm with you on that, brother. We can do it together. So
I would gladly march into any police department you wanted to and hold them accountable. I'm not saying
this cop that you had the experience with needs to be held accountable.
I'm going to get to that in a second. But what you're not doing, which in my opinion clinically fits with this idea of naive reality, is you are saying things like, I've been a cop for 6 years, or however many years you said, I've been a cop for several years, whatever it was. I have never seen or heard about racial bias showing up in policing. When there is a significant documented
what you're saying, I'm telling you what my experience is, and you said you have an example of this. I just want you to present the example to me. I'm not saying that it don't exist. I told you what my experiences are, and you have an experience different than mine, and I'm asking you to present the experience to me so I can learn.
So I'm going to present the experience, and then I want to see what happens to your ability to digest this reality.
Okay.
Are you familiar? So I remember one of the officers' name, actually, even though this was like this was the very beginning of my career. This was about 20 years ago, but I remember one of the officers' names because he ended up getting very famous doing something else. So are you familiar with the name? No. Are you familiar with the name Ronnie Coleman?
Yeah, Ronnie Coleman, bodybuilder. The greatest bodybuilder.
The greatest bodybuilder of all time. I'm familiar with him as a bodybuilder, but I met him as a police officer. Did you know he was a police officer at the Arlington Police Department?
Yes.
I was doing a ride along with a veteran police officer, and we had to go. So my job was to go with the police on scene when there was a violent potential crime, it is a violent crime scene anywhere, and most people don't know this, so I'll go ahead and say this, about 90 to 95% of police calls are domestic violence. So it was just constant violent domestic violence. This one particular call was somebody took their life, and we had to go talk to the people that were in the setting where it happened. I was with a veteran police officer, white guy, when we went out and did it. When we got onto the scene, there was a newer, rookie, white guy, police officer, that was talking very, very aggressively and disrespectfully to kids in the area who happened to be all black.
Well, wait a minute. Do you think that he was talking to them because they were black, or they just happened to be black?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
When we showed up, the veteran white police officer and myself showed up, he reprimanded this officer and talked to him about, you were only talking to those kids in that way due to your own biases, and they had a lengthy conversation about it. The very next day, when they had the roll call at the police department, they involved Ronnie Coleman. Those of you who might be listening who don't know Ronnie Coleman is black. They involved Ronnie Coleman, and they all had a conversation with this officer, who then acknowledged that his previous experiences have caused a bias that led to him conversating with those kids in that way. So that is a clear, concrete example where it happened. The very thing you're saying doesn't happen.
No,
happened.
I didn't say it does not happen. I said I have never had the experience with somebody telling me that or experiencing it myself. It can happen. Now here's the thing. This will probably shock your mind. I don't think that policing is without fault. I know that there's people who are on the police department that are racist. I've never experienced it. I know there's people who are insensitive to race. I know that there's people who are dirtbags. I work with some of them that were dirtbags and they got fired, and nobody hates them more than other police officers. So I'm not here telling you that there's no such thing as racism. I'm just saying it's so infrequent that I have never experienced it. But you have your experiences. He was reprimanded by another white officer, and his behavior changed. So what that tells me...
I didn't say his behavior changed. I did not say his behavior changed.
Well, if his behavior didn't change, then he shouldn't be a police officer anymore, correct?
He might not be.
No. For a year. Well, we need to find out, because if somehow he was... See, here's the thing that I think is pertinent to digest as well, is a person can have an opinion about the way you treat another person and project that it's race related, and when it's not. He said that he felt his previous behaviors were wrong in the way he treated the young people, correct? When Ronnie Coleman showed up to the meeting. So that means that he acknowledged he was wrong. The other officer called him out when he saw it happen. That means that if his behavior continues that way, he should not be a police officer anymore.
I agree with you.
What I'm saying is that you're showing me and you explain to me a check and balance that happened in real time, meaning that
correct,
unchecked behavior is not something that's prevalent. If most officers do not partake in racial biases towards people, it makes officers sick to their stomach, and they hate it with a passion. So therefore, when you see an officer see another officer do something incorrect to people in the community, they will get on there fast, and it happens. What I'm telling you is that you can say that there's things that occur. I agree with you. But that you just showed me an example of how most officers are unaccepting to stuff like that. Racial bias in policing is unacceptable to most officers.
Okay, I want to be very, very clear about this point. After I presented you a concrete example, you softened your position, which is fine.
I didn't soften my position. I never had a position that somehow you were wrong.
Okay, fine. We can go back and watch the replay. But my follow-up question to this is, I am one person with my own subjective experience. You asked me to give you a concrete example. I gave you one. You have your own subjective experience where you're saying, I was a police officer for this amount of time, I never saw it. And then saying, I think most officers are disgusted by this, and most officers are good officers. And what would someone have to present to you to say what bias in policing is actually a bigger issue than I previously thought? Because is data to that end.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying that racial bias is not in policing. We've already
No. I
established
said a major problem.
No. When you say major, to me, that means a person that have served in the police department. A few ride-alongs. I've done thousands because I was a cop in the car. I dealt with people on a daily basis. I'm talking about hundreds, thousands traffic stops, and you name it. I've had so much experience, and I know a lot of officers. And I'm telling you that with my experience personally, plus officers that I've talked to, it does not appear that racial bias is prevalent. You, as a clinician, just gave an example, and the example you chose was that you encountered a rookie officer who doesn't have a lot of experience getting chastised by another officer who were both white because he was inappropriate in the way he treated young black men or young black kids on a call.
Kids.
So I'm telling you my experience, and even in your experience, it validates what I'm saying. It's so not prevalent that you can't even witness it happen without somebody checking them over it. And therefore,
that's not what I said. You asked me for one example. I gave you an example.
But the example you gave me, to me, I'm assuming that you would give me a pretty prominent, egregious example. But even an example that you gave me, you're alluding to the fact that he was chastised by another senior officer who was white, not a black.
He was called out for sure. He was called out by a white.
And that's why I'm saying most cops are not in the business of being racist. And when we see our officers doing things they shouldn't do, majority of the cops will call people out on this. It's not acceptable in policing for you to be racist towards people. It's not acceptable. Now, there are people that do it, but that's not acceptable. It's not like your chief is going to watch you do some racist and go, yeah, that's totally fine. No, the community is not accepting it. Other black officers won't accept it, and good white officers will not accept it in policing. So it's rare.
But here's my statement. It's according to data, according to research, it's not rare. I can give
research that I just explained to you from Fryer, from Harvard, a Harvard professor who did a research document and posted that his findings, and they didn't even want him to present his findings, and they hated him over it, that his findings were that there is no biases when you look at the numbers against blacks in policing.
I'm going to post, when we post this video, I'm going to post more research. And my question to you is, will you observe and attend to research that is not a part of your or my subjective experience?
100%. I wrote a book on this stuff. Let me give you a couple examples. Do you think that...
No. Wait.
Okay.
I want to hear your example. I want to hear your response clearly. Will you accept data that is beyond just subjective experience and is developed by people that research this?
I just told you that the Harvard professor had his data. I accept all data.
Okay.
But I'm articulating to you that there's counter data to saying that there's implicit bias in policing, to a large degree, racism against blacks.
Man.
I just showed you there's counter data. I accept everybody's data.
But why are you giving...
I hate when motherfuckers do that, man. You want to talk, man. Yo, what the guy should have brought up was the gun trace task force. That's what he should have brought up. Cause he tried to, Tatum, I don't know what world he living in, but he's not living in reality at all. Like, for real. He's not living in reality. Yeah, I'm fatigued too. Officer Tatum fatigued. I'm sick of his ass. Right, he should have asked them how long did it take for them to fire them. I'm sure, like, these motherfuckers that get on the force and be on that racist shit, man, they be having years and years. Some of them retire, never get caught, never get called out, because it's a code of silence when it comes down to police. You snitch on another police officer, that's your ass, man, in a lot of police forces. And Tatum knows that, but he rather live a lie.
Giving more weight. Why are you giving this?
Because
to the very bias I'm talking about. You're giving more weight to the study
right
versus the contrarian idea.
No. There's a study, right, that I observed. There's two studies. There's the pro and against. and then I have to go off of my own experience. So
No,
based on
that's not how learning happens.
no, if you got a study, right? You have a study. Just give both of them credit to say they both are correct. Subjectively, they both have a subjective perspective here. Both of them are correct. Now, I can't. How am I going to choose who's right and who's wrong in this? It has to go down to what are my experiences, and does my experiences as a law enforcement officer and all of the officers that I know match one of these experiences?
That's not accurate.
Not unless you're saying one is right and one is wrong.
That is not accurate.
Are you saying that the Harvard study is wrong?
That is not what I'm saying.
Okay, then we're assuming, I'm conceding that both of them are subjectively correct. And whatever research
You got to let me explain how research is consumed. Research is absolutely not one is right and one is wrong. That's not how research is consumed.
Exactly, subject. Because they have subjective truths.
No, let me explain, because I'm trying to explain to you how research is consumed, because it's not a matter of one research study being right and one research study being wrong. There are many factors in the research study, meaning what kind of study was it? Was it a double-blind research study, which is the gold standard? Was it a meta-analysis, which compares all kinds of research? How many subjects were in that research? Research is weighted, so it's not just like one is right and one is wrong.
No.
You can have studies saying contrary things. One did and matter.
You can also, and I agree with you, research can be wrong too. People can have malicious reasons to do research and have imperfect findings because they it to be that way. I'm considering the fact that both of them data but and you have one that's imperfectly all the time, more consistently. You give them both fair weight as if these are good faith attempts to present information. You have to then rely on your personal experience to say
that is. You keep saying that. That is not
weighs
accurate.
more. I mean, I think that's the way people. You can't like.
Well,
for
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you.
For instance, I have never experienced racial encounters on the police department by any of the officers. Most of the officers that I know that work in primarily black neighborhoods on the Georgia police officers. I mean, I actually mentored one of them. They are saying the same thing. That majority of our encounters are not racist encounters. My white colleagues are not racist against black people. It's a rare thing to happen. So all of the people I know, all of the experience I have, when I look at the two data points, objectively, I'm saying that I believe in the Harvard study, a professor who did an incredible study, who balanced and weighed all of the data. I'm saying that I lean more towards believing what he's saying because that's also my experience.
Due to time, I have one more question I want to ask you, so we're going to move on to a different subject. But I am going to make this point about research. I am a consumer and producer of research. My entire field is based upon evidence-based research. I have to read it constantly to do my work. So if I read a study that says something like a particular therapeutic intervention is useful, and then another study that says that same particular therapeutic intervention is not useful, that experience incredible research studies saying different things. So now I have to rely on my own personal experience. And the truth is, I have to go into the study and say, how many subjects did they have?
We're not to that point. I'm not saying an illegitimate study. I'm saying two legitimate studies from different perspectives.
I'm saying
your
legitimate
clinical
studies still have different levels. You know what a power ranking is? Legitimate studies have power rankings. So
yes,
we know,
but you do not know if the study that I'm referring to, the Harvard study, is more powerful or less powerful than the one that you presented. So what I'm saying is, let's just give both.
So
of them
you don't know
weight.
that the study. You don't. But that's not how that works. You don't know. You don't
You
know
are
the other
conceding.
studies
Well,
power rankings either.
let's do this. Let's evaluate both of them. We'll which one is imperfect.
100%.
But this is what I'm saying. You can say
It's not about imperfect.
If a person say,
if a more rigorous in
if a person say that you're interviewing a person in this environment is not conducive for the best interview for a therapist, and you're saying, and another study says no, you can't interview a person in this environment, and you go, well, I get what they both have credible research. When I interview people in this environment, I get good results. Like when people say, should you medicate a person with Percocet or should you medicate a person with this? There's holistic approaches and then there's medical approaches. You, at some point, you have to, based on my information that I have derived from this for 20 years, this works, although this study is claiming that it does not work. That's a fair assessment.
That is not a fair assessment. You are using the word objective, but then demonstrating bias.
You have people that say that if you, well, a person can do a research on this. You can have a person that says you handcuff this way, which is the most appropriate way to handcuff without violence. You have another person that say no, that's not the way that you handcuff. You can handcuff this other way. You can be subjective in the way you think handcuffing should be done in order to be the most efficient and proficient in what you do. Both could be accurate, but other people can prefer to do a certain act because they've done it for 20 years and it works.
So I'm gonna, again, I want to move on to the next topic due to time, but I do not believe you are an accurate consumer of research given the way you are describing research.
I disagree with you, and I don't believe that you're accurate.
Fair. That's fine. That is totally fine. I am happy to do exactly what you suggested. We will both consume research and then come back and say, here's what we found, and we can explain the research to one another. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, that's be fair. All right, last question, and they get me out of here.
The last question. Are you familiar with the term internalized racism?
I don't know what the definition would be in a clinical way, but I can deduce what internalized racism would be. But
what would you say that it is?
I've heard people say internalized racism is, well, let me let you explain it because I don't want to confuse or conflate two different things, but go ahead and explain it and then we can talk about it.
So normally people conflate the idea of internalized racism with self-hatred. And I have seen people say, and you alluded to it earlier, people say he hates his blackness, people say he hates his own skin, etc., etc. That's actually not accurate per the accurate definition of internalized racism. Correct. Internalized racism is, I've adopted the mentality and ideas of the colonizer. So a more accurate description of the word would literally be internalized colonizer.
Do you think that I fit in one of these statements?
I'm asking you, do you think you fit? Do
No,
you think that the internalized racism towards you fits?
No, and I'm glad I didn't try to guess what the meaning was because I believe I conflate the two. If you're saying that internalized racism is adopting the perspective of the colonizer, 100,000%, that's not my perspective. That doesn't apply.
Yeah, that is, but that's what you do, bro. Yo, there has never been an issue that gained the world attention where he sided with black people. Not to my knowledge. Every single situation. So it's either that or he just getting paid to lie. It ain't really no in between. You either adopt the mentality of the colonizer or you just getting paid to lie, bro. Yeah, for real, Montana. That shit dead, bro. They don't let you off for telling on the dead. Terrence Gangster Williams. Well, Terrence Williams is the one that introduced that concept. But yo, he told on way more just than dead to come home, yo. Way more than the dead. That man told on correctional officers, inmates. Like y'all think that man had a life plus sentence. They're not letting you out. You get nothing by telling on the dead. You don't get nothing out of that, man. They want bodies in prisons. That's how they get paid. Yeah, they want to solve cases too, yo, but the overall goal is money. If I can get a motherfucker to do life in prison, I can make bank off this motherfucker for shit. However long he live in this motherfucker in here. So they're not just letting nobody out for telling on the dead. That's bogus, y'all. That's bogus. It's not reality.
That's not my perspective. That doesn't apply to me. If you're saying that I have self-hate, no, 100%.
I did not say it.
No, I'm not saying you did. Let me correct it. If this phrase of self-hate is not applied to me either. So internalized racism and self-hate does not apply to me. So you believe that one of those apply to me?
Then what is it then, y'all? Yes. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It gotta be something. Cause the damn show ain't normal. Like, yo, even if, this is my thing, right? Even if these was his real perspectives, if he really viewed the world in this lens, yo, like he said, you got 8 million people following you, bro. You are doing a serious disservice to the community. A serious disservice. So even if you felt like that, or thought that way, why the fuck you gotta get on your platform and tell the 8 million people that follow you that? Knowing that a bulk of the 8 million people that follow you is not even fucking black. And they against any pro-black movement or any black progression. That's what this guy should have said to him. But that's too much. You know, like I said, when you interview people, you gotta try to conduct a certain level of, you don't want to ruin their platform in the process. It's like bad etiquette. But with somebody like him, man, fuck him and his platform. Yeah, I know. I did a video exposing Terrence Williams, and he told on Habizo and testified on. Habizo just beat the murder. And it's crazy that Habizo ain't saying it. Like, yo, you know, they got like a little beef between each other. But he have yet to come out and say that, yo, Terrence Williams tried to testify on me, man, on the 17-year-old murder. That'll end the narrative that he told on the dead right there. You got a live person who he took the stand on. Habizo just beat the case. And that's Birdman right hand man. I think that's why he don't sit down, because I think Birdman still fuck with Terrence. He still fuck with yo, man. They just act like they don't. On wax. That's still his guy. Yeah, but that telling on the dead narrative, yo, that shit don't work, y'all. That shit don't work. I'm telling you. Not for certain shit. Hey, man, you locked up for some bodies or some shit like that, or they try and give you a significant amount of time, you're telling on the dead, it's not gonna get you out that jam. Terrence Williams told on like 3 or 4 separate occasions. That man profit hella times, man. It's documented.
I do believe the term internalized racism.
And the narrative that after sitting X amount of years in prison, he decided to tell, that's bogus. That man started telling from the beginning. From the very beginning, just like Rilo.
Internalized racism.
Now, we gotta. I know we run a long time, but like, you're saying that I have adopted the perspective of the colonizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me an example. It got to be sure, because I know we run a long time. Where would you derive that I've adopted the perspective of the colonizer? And can you explain real quickly who that person is, or who that group of people are in America today?
I'll give you a very specific example. you said that you don't believe slavery stole money from the black community.
I did. That's not what I said. I said you cannot evaluate if slavery stole money. No, because if racism stole money, because money wasn't even on the table. It's not like slaves could even make money. So you can't say they stole something they never had a chance to make. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, but we can make money before we became slaves in America. So how the fuck can't you say they stole money? How can't you say that was a serious transfer of wealth? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, he just literally just be saying anything. It's amazing that many people is willing to follow y'all, support y'all. Like, that just shows you that racism in America is alive and well. Because he literally just be saying anything. Yeah, he's delusional as a bitch. Like some of these females running around.
It's not like black people had money and then it was stolen from them when they were introduced into slavery, and then it could potentially have been. They never had the earning potential as being slaves. So nothing was stolen from them. Now, opportunities were not provided for them after slavery in an adequate way, but you can't say something was stolen that was never available to them.
So to be clear, black people never had
received Depo-Provera birth control shot. Dozens of women have filed law.
They had no possessions to hold on to because they were slaves. They weren't even considered persons, humans. They were property, like animals. They had no money to obtain or to give up or to relinquish. They had no choice in it. So that you can't compare that.
So again, I just want to be very clear on what I'm hearing. You're saying that slaves had no property, so thus it couldn't have been stolen.
Dude be talking nonsense.
Couldn't have been stolen.
Yes.
Okay, that's factually inaccurate. We know that from slave documents that they did have money. They were allowed at times to earn money.
Hold on. Let's talk about it because I want to be very clear about this. I studied this in college.
Yeah, I know.
Now you're talking about.
I think they say only about 30% of people came from slavery. It definitely was a large percentage of blacks that was already here. And some of us we didn't even derive from Africa. You know, we was immigrants to Africa. That's why they sold us into slavery. So this concept of Africans sold their own people is not even 100% accurate. Maybe some, but not all.
Perceiving the slaves that are on the plantation that were not able to work. They not like Harriet Tubman, who was married and she worked and she was married and her husband was a free black man. I'm not talking about Harriet Tubman. I'm talking about other slaves who were in slavery, who had no possessions of property. They were not allowed to work. They didn't work in the house. They weren't able to purchase their freedom. None of that. I'm talking about those people. I'm not talking about people who were house slaves, people who were servants in slavery, people like Harriet Tubman towards the end of her life, where she actually lived with her husband, who was a free black man and able to work. Some of her family members were free. And so I'm not talking about those particular slaves. So when you look at those particular slaves, some of which who were blacks who owned slaves, like I'm not considering those people.
Yo, and then and now, why do they do that, yo? Yo, the slavery that black people that had black people holding other black people captive as slaves was nowhere near the same as the transatlantic slave trade and what the fuck happened in America. That shit is not the same. It's not the same. It's like, why even merge the document? Even throw that in there. slavery in America was built on supremacy. Supremacy. Maybe it started with indentured servitude and just building the new land, free labor. No, yeah, but that shit transitioned into something way worse. If it was ever just about free labor. Man, we talking about castrations, motherfucking. Man, come on, man. Like I don't like people like y'all. Like I said, your voice is too loud to say some of these things that you're saying, bro. Even if that's what you believe, even though you're wrong, but even if you believe that, your voice is too loud to say it. When there's been a motherfucking years-long fight in America when it comes down to black people in this system. Not black people versus white people. Black people in this system and the white people that choose to uphold this system and ignore the flaws in the system and ignore the obvious contradictions in the system. That's the issue. It ain't really black versus white, because most white people understand what the fuck going on. It's blacks versus the system, yo, that been designed to fuck us over for decades. Every time we take 2 steps forward, they come up with some bullshit. That's what I think this red pill, blue pill relationship specialist shit is on. Yo, that shit is damaging the fuck out of black women, man. Which is in turn damaging the black man. Because it's making black women, it's creating this falsehood in the black woman mind, which in turn make the black man more colder towards our own women. It's a dirty game, yo. And you don't see it nowhere else. That's why I think it's a game. You don't see it between no other race of people. Shit fucking crazy. This guy's a bozo.
I'm considering people who had no opportunity to work, therefore they had nothing to build or take away from.
So that I can be abundantly clear, I believe you're just demonstrating internalized racism, because when I said, I'm going to tell you, I asked twice, can you be very clear, are you saying this? And twice you said yes. And then when I gave you contrary information, you widened it. I'm not considering
I widened it because I believe that the conversation needs to be deeper than the surface level. Did they gain money or not? Because there's different phraseology, there's different phases, there's different people that were in different phases of slavery. Slavery was not all one thing. There were people who were slaves who worked. There were people who were slaves who were given an opportunity to purchase their freedom. There were people who were black, who were once slaves, who then were free and then owned slaves. We can have a broader discussion about slavery. I'm saying the ones who did not have an opportunity whatsoever, that didn't even have a chance at having any possessions, could not have possessions taken away from them. If you want to go to black people in general, we have to then talk about black people who own slaves. We have to then talk about the first legal slave owner in American history, which was Anthony Johnson. We have to talk about all the black people who purchased their freedom and who also purchased other people's freedom in slavery. Those who never was a slave in the field. Those who always, in slavery had a different perception or a different position in slavery. So it's a dynamic discussion. Our premise was people who had absolutely no opportunity whatsoever should not be evaluated as the same as those who had an opportunity. So the conversation was post-slavery. Focusing on after slavery was abolished, where do we go from here?
Respectfully, I don't see a point in talking about the details because you keep moving it instead of.
I'm not moving it. You want to broaden up the conversation. You asked me a very basic perspective.
Clearly, what did you say? You said yes twice, and then I said, "But what about this?" And then you moved it.
And then I realized you want to broaden the conversation, so I broadened the conversation.
Fair. Due to time, can I ask you two more quick questions?
Okay.
One of them: are you familiar with the phrase "moral disengagement"?
Moral disengagement, no.
So, would you acknowledge, regardless of whatever opinions you hold, you're allowed to hold whatever opinions you want, would you acknowledge that some of the messages that you present cause harm to people?
Let's stop him right here.
DJ Khaled?
Just know.
First day of school, all turned up. Where you get them from?
Present cause harm to people.
Yeah, no, we got to be more detailed. You saying emotional harm? You saying physical harm? Or you saying people are harmed unjustifiably? They consider to be harmed by what I say. So
I'm saying that your
people should I have no intent to harm people by what I say.
One second.
I have no intent.
I don't want to be overtalked.
And people should not be harmed by what I say.
I don't want to be overtalked, and I don't want to have to put you on mute. I think some of the stuff you communicate on the platforms you do causes harm to people.
In what way?
Emotional harm. Causes them trauma and stress to hear your message.
Okay, that's a personal thing. That has nothing to do with what I'm presenting in my the way I intend to.
Man, nah, fuck that. Economic harm. Like if we try and push the conversation forward, but we can't push the conversation forward when we got guys like this motherfucker running around. That's what he's doing. I don't give a fuck about no emotional harm. He causing harm to the fucking movement. There's obvious racial issues in America, y'all. In every fabric of America. Documented. What about the people that was trying to sell their home and the appraiser gave them a cheaper quote when they was black? They called the same company and removed all the black pictures. Had a white family positioned like it was their home. And their appraisal went up, what, 400,000? Like, that's real shit. It's not fake, fabricated. Like, that's the harm he's doing, yo. And that's why I don't like it. I don't give a fuck about nobody's feelings. No, yo, you pushing us backwards, bro. This is why I say the black sellouts are the worst thing that happened to the black man. We can't even have a real conversation because we got niggas like him in the way.
Deliberate. It's not my fault that somebody's receiving personal harm in their own perspective because they don't like me saying that a black person was wrong. They feel harmed because I interviewed somebody. That's not legitimate.
It. No.
I'm saying let me ask you
a more specific question. If I presented you with evidence of a human being whose life has been harmed by the messages that you've put out, would you change or would you do anything different on how you're putting messages out?
Well, it depends because there's no intent for me to harm anybody. You give me a specific example, meaning that if somebody legitimately came to me and said, hey man, when you said this, it really hurt me and it was materialized, I may consider, depending on what I said, I can't not tell the truth because it hurts you. But if it's something I said, I can rephrase it and it actually caused some harm to somebody and they brought it to my attention, I'm open to that. But for somebody getting upset because they don't like that I criticize people who are having poor behavior because they are black, that's not my fault that people are emotional. And the same thing is, some of the things you said, I don't think it's your fault.
Prime example, yo, Nolan Wells. Yo, that family is trying to get justice. They're trying to get justice, man. There's a lot of things in that case that just don't add up, don't make sense. You continuously bring these kids on your platform to try to debunk what the mother and father is saying. I don't give a fuck about what they want. Instead of just allowing the investigation to play out. Nobody knows who did anything. Nobody knows if these kids did anything to know the world. But the fact that you keep coming out in support of these boys without a thorough investigation even being conducted is harmful. And he knows this. So I don't know why, or maybe he don't know it. You know, sometimes I think we be giving niggas too much credit. You know, we accumulate a following to a person being intelligent. And that's wrong. You should never do that. But some of these people just heavily promoted because they got corporate dollars behind it. They don't necessarily mean what they're saying is true or, you know. But that's a prototypical example. Prime example. Nolan Wells' death was issued and drowning within an hour of finding his body. They ain't even performed no motherfucking autopsy. It's very possible that Nolan Wells was dead drowned. Ain't nobody seen it. It's possible. But it's also possible to be some foul play too. And what he's doing is damaging for the family to see real answers, get real answers, get justice if there's justice to be got.
Fault that you said something that hurt my feelings, that's irrelevant. Like, is your intent to hurt my feelings? No. I just have to be a grown man and say, I don't like what you said about me. Let's have a conversation. But my intent with my content is just to tell the truth. If people's feelings are hurt because they don't like the truth, then I'm okay with that. And okay. I know we gotta run because I got to do a filming.
I just have literally one more minute, one more question, okay. And it's about Teslin Figueroa. When you were debating and having conversation about issues related specifically to the Nolan Wells case, I've noticed that she's been requesting an interview multiple times. Are you Teslin Figueroa?
I don't know.
Are you willing to sit down with her?
I don't know who that is.
If I connect the two of you, would you be willing to have a conversation with Teslin?
I'll have a conversation with anybody. It just depends. I got to know who this person is.
She is an attorney. She is working in the Nolan Wells case.
Is she the lady in the comment section?
I don't know if she's a lady in comment section.
That you responded to?
I think she
said something like, I don't know why Broner won't debate me. Is that her?
I think her name is Teslin Figueroa.
Is that who you're talking about? You responded to her in the comments. She said, I don't know why Tatum won't debate me. No, she said, I don't know why Tatum won't debate me or something, but he debates you, and you said you're going to answer the question. Is that she's a black lady?
She's a black lady, correct.
I think we're talking about the same person. I know who she is. I just didn't know her name. But it depends, man. She's super ghetto and disrespectful.
Whoa. No. She's not super ghetto, nor disrespectful.
I've been on an interview with her.
I understand that.
She's not very respectful. She talks crazy. I may still consider talking to her, but I just want to put it out there. She was wondering why I didn't debate her or nothing. Some people are not acting in good faith. And I don't want to get into an argument with somebody and they cussing and acting a fool. I feel like you've been respectful, although I disagree with you. You've been respectful in your commentary towards me, although I disagree with it. You haven't called me out of my name and you cursing and acting up. And so that's why I was willing to talk to you. But other people that are cussing and trying to get a gotcha moment, I'm not really interested. You know, like people got to realize, I have 8 million people that follow me. I have an incredible platform. I don't really gain anything by going on other people's platforms. And
that's the problem. You got 8 million people. You Because, yo, even listen, look, Scotty, with the phone thing, right? Can you trust them with the phone? Like, people gotta use, some type of, common sense. Can you trust them with the phone? Can you be 100% certain that they're gonna examine that and do it with integrity, based off of everything else that's been going on? I don't think you can. So you see how the narrative gets spent, like, oh, well, if they care, why don't they give up the phone? That sounds good, on face value, but when you consider all the other bullshit, can you trust them with the phone without being present? I don't think you can, yo. I don't mind them not giving up the phone yet, until they can come to some type of common ground on, when we're gonna review this phone together. I think that's smart, to be honest. But you see how people like him, that's the type of shit he is then. But won't they give up the phone? And then he'll go on a platform that's just as compromised as him, and nobody's gonna say the obvious. And the obvious is what the fuck I just said. That's the obvious. It makes the most logical and reasonable sense. But since we don't have real people on these platforms that garner millions, it just leaves more room for debate. It leaves more room for speculation. The answer I just gave kills the debate. It kills the speculation. Because I don't think anybody with any common sense would give up the phone willingly to these people who you trust.
Respect you enough to say, I would like to have a conversation. And
well, I think I just want to go.
That talk crazy about me every day. I don't know. I got to consider if I would talk to her, because I don't know if it would be productive.
Okay, I gotta let you go, but I will gonna go on a record and say I think you should sit down and have a conversation with Teslin. If she is just as informed and connected to this case and has interviewed just as many people as you have, and I think that's an important thing. So, Mr. Tatum, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I tried every type of ED medication, Viagra or sildenafil, and Cialis.
That man got destroyed in that debate. Fuck. Scotty always say shit that don't make sense. You gotta get used to Scotty. That's what he did. Why he parked this car right in that lot? They said don't park in that lot, but I'm doing it anyway. I'd rather parking in that lot than parking in the wrong lot. That bitch get told again. He's gonna park it all in the back. Oh, they got another. Oh, here you go. Here. Oh, here you go. This don't right here. Yeah, Scotty always gonna take opposition. But yeah, I wouldn't have that phone hold either. Not without my lawyer's presence. Fuck no. Fuck would I do that? I don't trust y'all motherfuckers. I don't think y'all running an honest investigation. So this guy fucked this car up. Look at this shit. Old guy. You can't even see it. The fucking control bent. I'll show y'all that. Scotty, what I said didn't make sense to you? If you didn't already, if you had what could be crucial information, right? Involving somebody who you love, or you know, just crucial information. And the police wanted this information. But based off of your previous encounters with these police, right? Would you just hand it over to them? Would that be smart? I'm not going to ask what you do. Would that be wise? Is the question. You already don't trust these people. Would that be wise for you to just hand it over? Scotty? I know it wouldn't. Scotty ain't gonna be honest though. Scotty ain't gonna be honest. No, it wouldn't be smart. But since we don't have any real motherfucking platforms, they just allowing a false narrative to be presented. And the false narrative is, well, if they cared about the investigation, why not hand over the phone? And nobody is saying the obvious. You feel me? We don't trust them. We ain't saying we ain't never gonna hand it over, but when we do, we want to be there when y'all go through the contents of the phone. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But I haven't seen a news platform say that yet. I be watching the coverage. I don't really cover the Nolan Wells situation because it's too much rumors and lies getting pushed around. So I just wait until something real concrete. But from the coverage I seen, I ain't seen nobody say that. And some of these people, that's all they do is cover Nolan Wells. But most of these people on this internet is compromised, man. They all got some type of corporation backing them. You see how Nancy Grace, at first she was going gun-ho in support in support of Nolan Wells, and now it's like she playing it. Now like she's straddling the fence. Looks like she's straddling the fence now. Oh yeah, let me show y'all this control arm. You'll fuck this shit up. It's an old guy. Look at that shit. That shit all bent up. I don't know what he hit. Yeah, I know a lot of them can't. Hell of a lot of them can't drive for shit. I don't even know how the fuck he did that. Ain't no goddamn cars on the road for real. It was supposed to just be a tire change, but she ain't a motherfucking tire change. Oh, it's just a tire change. And can't change that motherfucker. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, probably so. Out here fucking shit up. Take my ass out. Oh, and then Adrian Broner, man. So I don't know if it's true or not, but it could be. They say Adrian Broner for pancreatitis. Remember I told y'all I caught that shit before from drinking. That pancreatitis shit ain't no joke. And I kind of believe him because when he was discussing it, he was talking about how he can't hold nothing down. And that's what the fuck that shit do. That's why I don't drink no more. That pancreatitis, yo, that should have killed you, man. You better tighten up. I still got stomach issues from that shit. Yeah, you better tighten up, yo. This ain't no joke. You can't survive. You can't survive without your pancreas. You know, and it's not something that can be replaced either. But all people that was sitting back supporting that shit. Thinking it was funny, and I was telling y'all, man, y'all watching that man crash. And the sad part about it is that these people that's paying him, they don't even give a fuck. They don't even care. They really paying them to crash. You know what I mean? That's really what they paying them for. That's right. I ain't never wrote this bitch. Oh, they must have changed it to a car. Yeah, that shit ain't no joke, man. It looked like he was drunk yesterday at the little boxing event. Um, Saseki, the little what's it called shit. He said stop playing, man. That should have killed him, man. Should have killed him. I told y'all when it first happened. You know, that whole narrative of, yo, AB get money now, yo, man, nah, yo. We should have rejected that shit. See, the problem is, yo, us as a community don't understand how devious these people is, man. These people, all they want is money, yo. That's it. All they want is money. And then, AB looked like he had health problems before he started streaming. Look at his skin. His skin don't even look healthy. That's why he be looking gray a little bit. This wasn't no resurgence of AB. This was the downfall of AB. That's what we was witnessing. Fuck, I never called. Motherfucker. Let me show y'all this shit real quick. All of them, yo, Blueface, like, yo, they all being crashed out for monetary gain. All of them. That's why I call them sellouts. Yo, y'all laugh when these people, look at Blueface, y'all. Like, yo, Blueface is the epitome of ignorance. Ignorance, like, on all facets. And if you listen to the girl, remember he had the girl, stunner girl up there? He don't act like that off camera. Like, yo, you are on camera pushing degeneracy to millions, disrespecting women, and that's not how he is in person, in real life. I'm saying, yo, the black sellout, man, that shit ain't no joke. She ain't no joke. Now look at AB.
Man, you playing, bro. Niggas dead ass, my nigga. I ain't real. I'm punching Floyd today. Oh my. Bro, he is stupid, bro. You gonna be with me, nigga. If you gonna be with me, nigga. And yes, but nigga. Man, you playing, bro. Niggas dead ass. Somebody give me a portable. You know, hey, that shit hit harder now. Hey. You just walk past me, but it's alright.
I didn't walk past you, I spoke to you.
It's alright, everything is okay.
Everything is great.
Now,
you okay?
It hit different now. Well, Randy, little brother.
Are you the one that did the song?
No, how you doing?
No, the energy is interesting here.
No.
It's all good.
Somebody give me.
Like all them guys, man, they being paid to crash, man. They all selling out, all of them. It's disgusting, man, for real. I don't like nothing about it. I seen the video of AB drunk as a bitch.
AB has pancreatitis. Alcohol is going to kill him if he doesn't stop in 3 years. In the next 3 years. The fuck? Wait, what is pancreatitis? Somebody else has texted me saying, make sure AB don't drink. Seriously, my mom just died, 42, in her sleep from end-stage liver damage. That shit is real. Damn, bro. Oh shit, inflammation in the pancreas. This doctor just texted me and said, hey.
Just fucked up. Anything I do, anything I eat, or what? Shit crazy. Right now I can't even drink no water. I feel like I'm doing.
That's how that shit be, yo. Can't even drink no water, yo. Y'all lost all my weight, my coming home week. I lost that shit in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks from fucking pancreatitis, yo. That shit ain't no joke. Can't even hold water down, yo. Everything you eat comes straight back up. Everything. You better tighten up. Take that shit serious. But the problem is the people that's paying them, they ain't gonna tell them stop drinking. You feel me? They actually hope he keep drinking. You know, it'd be content gold if we can get this nigga dying slow. What? Crazy? Now, you know the money we can make? You know the money they can make off of AB dying slow on camera? For real though. Like, I ain't joking. That's how these people operate, man. Dirty as shit. That's why you don't fuck with them people, man. That's why you don't fuck with them. That pancreatitis ain't no joke. I had 2 pancreas attacks when I came home. From drink. I used to drink a lot when I was a teen. Teen, like early 20s. If I went to prison. It's like you get a pain like right here. Like right in the middle of your motherfucking, between your chest and your rib cage. Right in the middle. That shit stopped like burning. You heard me? Like burning, like a serious discomfort. And basically what's going on is your pancreas shoots out enzymes to break down your food. What happens with pancreatitis is, instead of the enzymes breaking down your food, the enzymes that shoots out start breaking down your pancreas. Now, I was young as shit when I caught it. You know, I was like 25. I mean, and this is something that normally happens in like your 50s or your 60s. And it comes from like excessive eating or habits or alcoholism. You feel me? But it ain't nothing to play around with. Yeah, so the first time the first pancreas attack I had, I was at work, but it was relatively light. You know what I mean? But then I had one when I was in the house by myself. That shit was scary as a bitch. I was ready to die in that bitch. The only way it stopped is like I had to lay on, like get on my knees. For some reason, when you get on your knees, that shit kind of eased the pain. I went to the hospital. It's like, yeah, you can see the enzymes in my blood and shit. So, yeah. AB better tighten up. That shit ain't no joke. Not a game. What else in the title? Oh yeah, Kendra G. So the Kendra G had this shit called Invest Fest. And this shit is about like luring in like high profile men. Like, yo, this shit is crazy, yo. But it was all a play. So check this out.
Money than you. No, actually, it's not even an option to date a man that makes less money than you. No.
Listen to this shit, man.
It's not even an option to date a man that makes less money than you. No, absolutely not. Ooh, I want somebody who's gonna lead me. How you gonna lead me? You making less than me. I'm your boss.
These were random people. We thought.
Yo, why would you even like what? I'm your boss. Yo, it was thousands of people that came to this event. Thousands of women, more than likely single. If the woman is making more money than the man, she's his boss. Yo, we going, man, we going down a dangerous path, man. Tell you. Now listen to Shorty break this down, because she was there. Play it back.
It's not even an option to date a man that makes less money than you. No, absolutely not. I want somebody who's gonna leave me. How you gonna leave me? You making less than me. I'm your boss.
These weren't random people. We thought we were watching strangers. We were not. It's kind of crazy because I'm thinking Kendra is definitely pulling women out of the audience, right? The truth was they'd already been on her show before. They had viral moments, which is why they were there. But we didn't know about that. We thought that we were watching real life people like ourselves.
So if a man approaches you, are you asking how much he makes?
No, I'm not gonna ask it off rip. I'll probably ask what you do, because they're gonna automatically assume I'm just looking after the money and not that like the actual person. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So every woman that come on the stage is pretty much gonna have a salary requirement. And I'm not saying it's not impossible.
Let's really get into it. If damn near everybody in the room has to hit one number to qualify, y'all do the math with me. You've made the pool super narrow, and it's more smaller than you actually think, because we're not even adding into things like race, which is typically another criteria for a lot of people. And it becomes more impossible to actually meet somebody that you can actually grow with organically. While I'm sitting there doing the math, I hear somebody behind me that had nothing to do with the people on stage. Part 3 is up.
It's not even an option to...
Yo, this shit is like a CIA operation, man. For real, yo. Like, yo, they're doing serious damage to the black family, man. Like, we need to stop this shit somehow. I don't even know how the fuck we can do it. It's been going on for so long. It started during the pandemic. It seemed like that's when they switched their agenda. You know, switched their focus to the woman. And it's working masterfully. Like, the amount of delusion that you hear from some of these women nowadays is insane. And then when you try to correct them about the delusion, you know what they'll say? Oh, you talking down, or nah, hell no, I'm trying to enlighten you, shorty. Like, that shit you say, it sound crazy. Ain't nobody talking down on you or disturbing your peace. That's another one. You disturbing my peace. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yo, listen to what you're saying, yo. Doesn't make sense. Yo, most men in general, especially you talking about men that's making millions, yo, they ain't trying to deal with no motherfucking female that's combative. You understand what I'm saying? And even if they are willing to deal with that, yo, they gonna have other females. Like, the same woman that's talking like that expect this guy that's getting all this money to just be faithful when he got the motherfucking pick of the litter. Like, yo, that's not reality, yo. That's why they had to get Kevin Samuels out the way. That's why Kevin Samuels had to go, yo. He had to go because they seen that it was money and what he was doing. But I don't think they liked the way he was doing it. You know, he was doing it in a way to bring people closer. I think they seen what Kevin Samuels was doing and say, yo, we can hijack this shit just like they did everything else. Hijack it and turn it on his head. And that's the fuck been going on, yo, since Kevin Samuels been dead. That's what been going on since Kevin Samuels been dead, man. They done hijacked the shit and turned it into a negative. Now you got all these people. Now you got all these people talking fucking nonsense. Nonsense. And you can't even tell them it's nonsense because then you're disturbing their peace. It's fucking crazy, yo. You need the shit slapped out of her for that bullshit. She was talking. Real. That shit is straight bullshit. Straight nonsense. And she ain't the only one. She is not the only one. Yeah, and y'all gotta think, y'all, we still early. We still early in on this shit. Imagine 20 years from now, nigga, the black man and woman in black households, nigga, that shit is gonna be non-existent. It's gonna be non-existent, man. And it's so powerful. Like, the shit that they doing, like, you can't even fight against it, even when you recognize it. You know what I mean? Even if you recognize your girl or your sister moving in that way, you can't even talk against it. That shit vicious, man. vicious. Selling this idea of motherfucking financial wealth and financial freedom and generational wealth. Yeah, that shit sounds great, yo. But it's killing the idea of us working together, yo, to a common goal to get where we need to be. It's killing that. It's killing the family structure. So you got that going on alongside whole culture. Man, it's crazy. I'm telling you. This ain't nothing but the crack epidemic all over again. This ain't nothing but the not crack epidemic, but the slander. The slander is the image assassination of the black man. They just doing it to the black woman in a more lucrative way, or more disguised. It's more disguised. Because most of them don't even realize they being tricked. What's up, y'all? Most of them don't realize they being tricked, y'all. They all gonna be single. And they're never going to find this man that they've been promised. They can manifest that shit to the cows come home. He's never going to be found. He don't exist. Now, you got some women that speak out against it. But if you notice, when you see the ones that speak out against it, you rarely ever see women in the comments. It's a whole bunch of men. Like, they don't even want to look at another scenario, you know. They don't even want to think there's an adverse to this belief. You see how it's, I'm telling you. It's vicious. And I've been calling it out for a while now. Now you got Kendra G who brought these people on this so-called Invest Fest so they can network and meet like-minded individuals. It turned out to be a whole bunch of fucking females. She promised the men was going to be there. That was our promise to the people. There was going to be men there. Well, no men in that.
But this is the part that actually got to me. Not the stage, but what I heard behind me. Black men talking about black women. Like we weren't standing right there. All of this is going on. I hear chatter behind me, a black man. And one of them says it plain. This is why I don't deal with black women. This is why I don't with black women. You fill in the blank. And listen, we already hear this narrative all the time. That we got bad attitudes, that we're hard to deal with. So sitting there, hearing this in real time, and knowing that that's not me, and knowing several other successful women who don't think like that either.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's working. It's making niggas say, fuck that shit. Yo, nobody got time to be dealing with delusion, yo. Nobody got time to you ain't ready to make me. Fuck that. And they want to take you down this delusional path. And if you feed into it, then you yo, they done got you too. I'm glad she is one of the ones that recognizes it. But she is like not being promoted to the extent of the delusional one.
It was pretty heartbreaking. So watching our own people go against each other like that over 4 strangers on stage, yeah, nah. At that moment, it stopped being about a panel for me, and it became, is anybody going to say something, or are we going to just let this continue to happen and be a representation of us as black people?
Yo, we gotta stop this shit, yo. I just don't know how to do it. I might need to get her on the platform. Matter of fact, I'm ready to reach out to her.
actually.
It's not even an option to date a man that makes us.
This wasn't even supposed to be the story. One question I asked into a mic turned into all of this. I'm a chiropractor. I own Golden Alignment Sports and Wellness Center, located here in Dallas, Texas. First time at this, trying to figure out how to build another stream of income. And before I even got there, I saw Kendra G was hosting a singles event at the conference. I was super excited about this too, not because I needed a man with money, but because when you work as much as I do, you don't really get to meet people organically. So I thought maybe I'd meet someone with the same mindset. Not the same bank account, but the same drive. So I went in with zero expectations, and by the end of the weekend, I was the one everybody was stopping in the hallway to talk.
Listen, I ain't the one, the two, three, walk through my body, okay?
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
So I went to invest as single, successful, and open to meeting somebody. But what was not on my bingo card was to end up on stage with Kendra G. So let me explain. It was my first Invest Fest, and I went to the singles event thinking, okay, maybe I'll meet my husband in this room. But
It's not even an option.
this wasn't even supposed to.
Listen, I ain't the one, the two, three, walk.
In this room. But woman after woman got on stage saying the same thing. He needs to make $250,000. He needs to make $1 million. And finally I thought to myself, is this real? So when Kendra G opened the floor, I asked, did y'all bring this woman up here to raise us? And somehow that ended with me on stage. But here's what I was actually trying to say. The median black man working full-time earns roughly $54,000 a year. So once your minimum becomes $250,000 or $1 million, you dramatically narrowed your dating pool. And listen, I'm all for people having their standards, so have your standards, sis. I'm a doctor, I own my practice, and I'm doing well for myself. But I don't need a man to out-earn me to see him as a good partner. Because maybe I've been thinking, okay, maybe I'll meet my husband in this room. This wasn't even supposed. This is the part that actually.
Yeah, she been breaking all that shit down, and she got some type of logic. What the fuck she think? But most women, yo, it's not even just women, it's just a tactic that's used. It's a manipulation tactic. If I tend to you, Umar Johnson does it. That's how he became successful. If I tend to you, Charleston White does it. It's just tending to your emotion. I'm just going to force feed you what you want to believe. If I force feed it to you enough, I make it a reality. Your reality. No, not the reality. Just your reality. You know, most of these women that think that way, I fuck around and say all of them, are going to be single for the rest of their fucking life. Like, man, I don't want to get too personal, but that's just sad. Sad. Sad that so many men is going through this shit. Like, you got guys that did great in life. He's successful. He making some money. Now, is it honest? Fuck no. I ain't saying I co-sign. No, hell no. But it's a shame, yo. Like, some of these guys is doing great, and then relationships where they steady being chastised about doing more. It's like, god damn. It's like nothing is never enough. And when you and if you understand women, especially these type of women that think like this, all they're gonna do is continue moving the goalposts. My recommendation to the guys is, yo, do what makes you happy, yo, and if she's happy in the process, that's what's up. But yo, you do not spend your life trying to make a woman happy, yo, but all that's gonna do is stress you out. Like, even when it comes down to happy in that term, you know, that's an emotion, that's a feeling, that's not something that lasts a lifetime. You feel me? So most of the women that have that mentality of a man has to make me happy is already starting off on a bad foot, because can't no man make you happy. I can buy you flowers and you might be happy for a day or a couple hours or a week, but I can not take out the trash and now you're not happy again. Like, oh yeah. But you got men out this bitch doing backflips, trying to keep their marriages or keep their relationships. together. Just because they dealing with women and their unrealistic expectations of what the fuck a man is and what a man's supposed to do. My advice to those guys, do what makes you happy. Straight up. That way, no matter how it go, you comfortable with it. You ain't sacrifice yourself. Because they want guys to sacrifice everything while they sacrifice nothing. Oh man. Not until they get their shit together and figure out what it is they value. You don't let no female run you around. You out this bitch working full time, taking care of the kids. You might got a college degree. And they talking about, won't you go get another one? Won't you go start a business? Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Won't you start a business? Fuck out of here. What type of fuck to do? Straight up. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Another day, keep it new.